Good afternoon to everyone. First and foremost, I want to thank Mauritius FinTech Hub for giving COMESA Business Council an opportunity to speak during this important discussion where we try as much as possible to harmonize our standards across the region so that we facilitate movement of products and services across the region so that we support our private sector and manufacturers. Maybe first and foremost, I need to highlight that COMESA Business Council is a member organization bringing together diverse group of enterprises, companies, associations in the COMESA region to influence policy directions that impact the industry in COMESA. The COMESA Business Council is the recognized apex body of COMESA within the 21 member states, and we seek to strengthen the inclusiveness of the private sector in the region and in the region and global trade. This includes the prioritizing of specific advocacy strategies and addresses impediments that and measures that affect businesses in industries. I think following this, the issue of standardization of regulations and policies is at the heart of COMESA Business Council, where we try to assist the small to medium enterprises and women in business so that they are able to tap into the region. The issue of standardization in the previous years affected the trade of our manufacturers and also the small to medium enterprises, for it has been working as a barrier to their exports and sourcing of raw materials. I think it's not much of developing identical regulations or standards, but it's an issue of to converge international methods for developing and administering standards so that we can have a platform where we are able to facilitate their trade and also facilitation of movement of human beings and also of their products. Some of the issues that have been raised during our interaction with our small to medium enterprises takes into account issues to do with pre-market harmonization, where we are saying before the product comes into another market, what is the coordination? What are the administrative procedures? What are the laws? What are the regulations which operates in each and every country before a product is exported into another market? The issues of to do with mutual recognition. If one product is registered in one country, is it accepted in another country? What are the measures? What are the barriers which comes into play when a manufacturer tries to export their products into another region? Another issue is on equivalence. If a manufacturer is registered on a specific standard, is it recognized in another market? So all these issues have come into play, and our manufacturers in the have previously highlighted that the harmonization will be of great importance to their exports and imports, and also the generic or operations and also manufacturing of their products. So in terms of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, I think the issue of standardization is of paramount importance, where we say it will facilitate the production, the competitiveness, and also the movement of products which are manufactured within the COMESA region, the SADC region, the EAC. How are the products going to move across the region? I think COVID-19 have in a way taught us a lesson that having standards, harmonized standards, will assist in the exchange of available products which are manufactured in one country, health related products which have been manufactured within the African continent. I think the African Continental Free Trade Area will mainly base on these aspects where we say, let's come together, let's harmonize our standards, our regulations, so that we are able to exchange our products and services within the region. I think to just take a snapshot of the Africa, COMESA trade, I think in 2019, intra-COMESA is changed at 7%, and intra-Africa stands at 17%. But some of the explanations for the low intra-Africa trade or intra-COMESA trade is hinged on the difference in the standards which exist, whether product aligned, whether human movement aligned, whether services aligned. But if we compare with other regions like the European Union, you find that the European Union currently, or in 2019, the intra-EU trade exports were standing at roughly about 62.7%. The Association of Southern Asian Nations was standing about around 22.6. So you realize that much needs to be done in Africa and in the regs within Africa, so as to iron out the areas to do with regulations and laws which movement of goods and services. In the COMESA region, COMESA is an arm which is called COMESA Competition Commission, which also assists in ironing out areas to do with harmonization of competition laws, production laws, which facilitate a healthy environment and protection of consumers, so to speak, in terms of standards. Also, the package of harmonizing standards comes with there's need to see how best are they being harmonized. Sometimes even if they are harmonized, they compromise the health safety of consumers. So in COMESA, for example, we have established a competition commission which monitors the issue of competition, manufacturing standards. Are they meeting the international standards? So over the years, they've been working on standards. So in terms of key success factors in Africa, I think one of the major areas that is required, number one, is issue of government buy-in. There is need for government buy-in because governments play a critical role when we talk of development of policy, shaping of how products and services can move across their borders. So government is a critical player when it comes to standardization, and they have been creating a platform for private sector exports and imports. The other important player is the private sector. The private sector themselves, they play a critical role in terms of validating policies, provision of feedback, and also giving suggestions to governments on how policies can be the direction of policies, where we say creating a platform which facilitates the movement of goods and services across Africa, across regional economics blocks. So overall, when the government is a buy-in, when the private sector validate the policies and structures, there is need to have a public-private dialogue which brings together these major players. They iron out differences. They shape the investment structures which are needed in terms of technology, in terms of networks, in terms of electricity, everything which contributes to the standardization of probably policies and policies and regulations. So the question which comes into mind is, why do we need to harmonize regulations or any other areas which hampers movement of goods and services? Harmonization, it reduces non-tariff barriers posed by different testing, certification of products that may come into play, or the overall administration of standards or of products. So the harmonization will facilitate this exchange of products and services across the Africa continent. It also works better for consumer protection. If each and every country comes up with their regulations for manufacture, for policies, it becomes so chaotic, and at the end of the day, the consumer is the biggest loser in it all. So we try as much as possible to have to harmonize all these areas so that the consumer can benefit from it. So I think harmonization of regulations, of policies is of critical importance to traders, to manufacturers, and also at large to countries. It also facilitates our small to medium enterprises and women in business for them to be able to move their products in the region, because when if not done, sometimes it will compromise the quality of the products, and also thereby affecting the consumers, because the SMEs, if they realize that probably it's much of a challenge, they'll find other ways of making an export, probably using shortcuts and everything, and this bypasses probably the collection of statistics in the region or as for the country. But once a record is not made that an export has been done, this has a bearing effect to the policies that will be developed by countries and by the region. So we try as much as possible to put in place regulations which create a platform which facilitate movement of goods for the SMEs and women in business. I think in a snapshot, that's how we can go about it in terms of harmonization. But as COMESA Business Council, we have been, over the years, we have been working with the private sector to come together and create to move advocacy in terms of having to harmonize the policies, be it in the agriculture sector, be it the manufacturing sector, be it in the environment at large. So we have been bringing together the public sector and the private sector, so that they can discuss these areas and come up with solid positions to promote movement of products and services across the region. I thank you.